Hello and welcome. I am Scarperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the Rebirth server. We are with Quintessence Lass, who has like a minute left of being level 29, and we're about to switch to level 30. So this will be our final episode for Season 2, and the next episode we will, I guess, start Season 3, or maybe we'll finish this story arc and then start Season 3. I guess we could do that. I don't think we have that much longer in the story arc. I didn't realize how close we were to level 30, or I would have finished that off in the last episode, but we will get to level 30 right now. We have over 1 million experience earned and only 1,000 to go to get to level 30. And our next superpower, and Laurie Pennington says, whoever Ubelman is, or wherever he's from, our inside informant has given us a good shot at catching him. Apparently the council has been stockpiling parts for a time machine to send Ubelman back to the past. I still don't know if I believe that Wolfgang Ubelman is a time traveler from the Second World War, but we should stop the construction of that device. And that is what we're going to do. We need to head to Independence Port. So let's head over there. And guys, we're finishing up our Talos Island Independence Port time. We're going to go back to Croatoa once we're level 30 and finish after we finish this story arc, and then we're going to probably be moving on to Brickstown and Founders Falls after we do the Croatoa missions. I'm not sure if we're going to have to take another break. I think there's one more contact after the one that is not talking to us till level 30. I can't remember her name. Because I think there's also another contact that sends you to Warwitch. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time, and I've only done those story arcs once. So, and I'll probably never do them again because I don't really like them very much. I mean, I think that the overall story of Salamanca / Croatoa is cool, but I think it could have been done in a lot fewer story arcs because too many of the story arcs are just go defeat 10. Too many of the missions in each story arc are just go defeat 10 things, go defeat 15 things out in the open, and not a fan of those because there's really no story to them. Compared to this, where every single mission advances the story a little bit. So now we are going to find 5 parts of the time machine so that they cannot send Ullman back to World War II, if that is indeed where he's from. And I'll spoiler it for you a little bit. Yeah, it's where he's from. But he's not the big bad guy here. There's a different bad guy, which we will learn as we go. I'm not going to spoil it in case you haven't watched the other videos. You can be a little surprised, I guess, maybe? 2 misses out of 3. Oh my gosh, he's still alive? Give me a break. Oh, not alive. Conscious. We don't kill people. We just knock them out and let the police capture them. And we have leveled up, so that's going to make this entire mission cake. We're level 30, which means I've got to come up with what our next power is going to be. I think it's going to be the stealth power, because I don't think we're going to need to put a lot of slots on that power. And in terms of powers, I'm thinking for the first time here, maybe, depending on what I have room to take in the upper levels, this character may... Did I see a glowy? No. This character may perhaps be in for the very first respec I've needed to do. I thought I was going to have to respec Nightmare Lass with the teleport foe, but I ended up loving it. It ended up being one of my favorite powers, and I even slotted it. I've not so far been at all impressed with Fear. You have to be in melee range, which means it's almost utterly useless to do things like stop, say, a Malta from shooting you with the Sapper from shooting you with the Endurance Drain, or stopping a Porter amongst the the Sky Raiders or a Sioux Sorcerer from teleporting out of the way. By the time you walk up, they've already started the animation, so you can put them in fear, but then they teleport away and they cower in fear wherever their destination was, which is completely defeating the purpose of having that ability. I really don't feel the need to lay it on lieutenants or anything. Usually we defeat them so fast that it really doesn't matter. I suppose it's possible if I were doing, say, +2 times 2, and maybe we will at some point. Um, freezing a lieutenant while you beat up a boss might be okay. But again, I just feel like doing more damage is probably more useful. And I probably would be better off having hasten or something instead of this fear power. Also, if we get into the epic pool with the body mastery, I definitely want focused accuracy for it, and I probably am going to want physical perfection and conserve energy because I just like those. And I don't know if we'll have room to take the eye beams, which I also want because I want her to have a range power, and I would rather have the eye beams than the fear. So, depending on what else I end up picking, I am I am possibly going to respec fear out of this character because I never use it. I just don't feel like it's even necessary. Um, Kind of how when I first played City of Heroes in, I think it was in beta, I got Cobra Strike. Back when Cobra Strike didn't do any damage, all it did was stun, and it was a Mag 3 stun, so it was a good stun, but um, but that's all it did, right? It did very little damage. It now does about the same damage as Crane Kick. Crane Kick does big damage knockdown, and Cobra Strike does big damage, and it has its mag. I think is down to mag 2. It just has a chance of stunning, but it's a good chance. And so now it's great because it does big damage. But back when all it did was stun, it was basically the same thing as this fear, which is it's just a mez that doesn't do any damage, and I wasn't too thrilled with that either. And so, should we go up here? I think we've been up there. Let's just keep going. So when I started playing the game in live after beta, I just never took Cobra Strike, and like literally, I think eventually, I think I took it at like 49th level or something, but I left it out of my build for a really long time, and I don't like the animation of it, so I never took Crippling Axe Kick either. And so this character, we've taken all of the primaries, and I think there isn't good room to do that and still take your pool powers and everything. And of course, the old days I had to do the fitness pool as power choices, so that was an issue as well. So I don't know, we'll see where we go with this, but level 32 is going to be Midnight Grasp. If 30, 35, and 38 are this, that only leaves us with our last 4 power choices. We could, I guess, get all 4 of the epic pools at 41, 44, 47, and 49. But that would mean we have to wait a very, very, very long time to get some of those powers. Either the Eye Blast would have to wait till 49th level, at which point, why bother to take them? Because, the whole purpose of them is to make our life a little easier, and by 49th level, the character's time in the game is nearing an end. Right? It's only one level to go, and once we're 50th, whatever story arc we're on at the end there, at 50th level will be the end of this character. So, retirement, of course, she's not going to die or anything, but she will retire. And so, so I don't know. Right? I don't mind leaving, like, respecking it so we could put Touch of Fear back in it at 49th level, so if we want to use it, then we can. But I'm not sure that I really need to have it now. So I'm thinking about doing a respec with this character, possibly at level 32. I think I want to see what we take at 30 and how it works, and I'm going to think about it a little bit more. But if I want to take fear out of there, I should do it now and put something else in. The only other hesitation I have with fear, we don't have any need for enhancement slots on it. It's like basically kind of letting me skip a power choice and just add more enhancements to one of the other powers, because if I don't like the power, there's no point to slotting it, right? If I replace it with something like the I-beams, obviously we can't do that at level 32, but if I replace it with something that requires slotting, hasten, let's say, which requires at least triple slotting, then we're going to be even more short of slots than we need. Than we are now, and so we'll need even more. And and so one advantage of fear is that we don't need to slot it at all. And if we're going to end up putting powers that need more slotting, well, that may not be worth it because we won't have the slots for it. There's no point to getting hasten and not slotting it. If we're going to get it, we should triple slot it so that it recharges very quickly and we can use it a lot. So I don't know, I'll have to think about it. I also want to take a look at how many slots we might possibly need with the stealth power. I think we won't need any. I think just put endurance reducer on the base slot that you get with every power and leave it alone. But I'm not sure. It might also grant some defenses. If they're non-trivial, it might be worth slotting them. I'm obviously not going to slot something that gives us like 1% defense, because even maxing it out would only get it to like 1.5%, and there's no point. But if it gives us 7 or 8% defense or resistance or something, then it would absolutely be worth slotting it. Okay, so we have 2 more parts to secure, and I guess that's going to be going the other way. I was trying to kind of figure out which way would lead us to the end, and I guess got it wrong, because we obviously have to go back now. And I was thinking that as I went the other direction, I was thinking, oh, maybe I should have gone this way. But it's always hard to tell when you're first going through an area. Is there a boss there? No, I thought maybe there was a boss. So I hear at least one more glowy here, and hopefully after we get that one, we'll find out where the last one is using the asterisk on the map. And then we will have found out what is going on with Ubelman and these different time travel parts. We'll hopefully have stopped him from going back in time. So, second to last glowy. And I hear the other one, which is right there. And that should stop them from building the time machine. Out we go. And before we talk to Lori, I guess her name is, we are going to head to the trainer and level up, guys. We are 30th level. Man, look at all these enhancements. We need to sell that as well. Alright, so actually, let's stop. There's no point to going to the train station. What we're going to do is go to Ouroboros, so we can sell all these enhancements to the salesman guy right there, and then we'll go straight into Talos Island and level up with Luminary. Alright, so in we go, Talos Island. And then we'll talk to Lori after we've leveled up. Sometimes it seems like the location where Ouroboros dumps you out is pretty arbitrary. I'm not sure what made the developers decide on like that hill rather than say over here on this patch of grass or something. I'm curious what made them make those decisions. So Energy Cloak, let's take a look. Energy Cloak does give 3.75% defense, which to everything, and it is enhanceable. So that means we're probably going to want to keep that on. And we're going to want to enhance it, so this is going to need 4 slotting. Okay. So we're going to be running 4 toggles with this character. Which is kind of what we did with, Silver Phoenix, because she eventually got stealth and started running that too. Alright, so let's see. Do we have an endurance reducing recipe? We do. So let's go ahead and craft that. I do not have a crafting station in my base yet, so I'm going to go and craft that in Steel Canyon at the university, and then I'll bring you guys back after we have crafted it. Alright, we are back, and our character is now partially merged with the dark energy of the universe, and she is now no longer fully visible. She's made out of dark energy now. She is Quintessence. And therefore, you should be prepared from now on for most missions. You probably won't see our avatar much anymore. Much like with Tiger Strike, she was invisible before she made her assassin attacks. We call Lori, who says, "You prevented the council from constructing that crazy time machine, but there's one last thing to do. You've got to capture Ubbelman and put an end to this. If he does have a way back to the 1940s with enough information to change history, then he has to be stopped. The Center has had more than a half century to plot out exactly how his younger self can wrest control of the world from his masters. I don't even want to think about what will happen if Ubbelman succeeds." We also get a new contact, Marisol. So we're going to stop Ubbelman. Let's go to Skyway City, and that'll probably be the end of this episode. We should be fine on endurance because we have our 2 endurance generating powers here. But I think with all 4 toggles going, we will eventually need conserve energy, or whatever it's called, that you can also run from the body mastery pool. But that won't be for another 10 levels or so, 15 levels. So, we'll try Skyway City South. We'll see where it is. We might have to go north. Yep, we've got to go north. Hopefully this train will work. Looks like it is. It doesn't seem to be stuck open, so here we go. Skyway City North. Certainly a lot easier than it was in the old days when the lines were separated and you couldn't get from one to the other. And I'm glad I'm definitely glad they made that quality of life change. We're +1. I'm not sure if this can give level 31 and 32 villains, though. I guess it can do 31, because we got some of those in the last mission, but I don't know if it'll do 32, because it was designed to stop at level 30 as a story arc, so we'll just have to see what happens. I really like how our character has just become sort of dark and invisible, and she's made of dark energy now. And how fittingly she is in a lab. Yep, even though it's +1, we're at +0. And that's because I think this is the cap level of the story arc. So this is going to make this mission super easy. Sorry about that, guys. Nothing we can do. So we will need to triple slot this power to put defense enhancers on it, but it's not a massive priority because it's only going to increase our defense by a couple percent. So we definitely want it. Every little bit helps, but it's certainly not going to have the impact that, say, putting triple damage enhancers on Shadow Punch would have. So we'll do it, but eventually. We have a huge... We're starved for slots right now. We definitely need a lot, and I don't think we're certainly not gonna do it at level 31, and probably not at level 33. Especially since at 32 we get our like uber attack power. We're gonna want to slot that right away too. Another miss. And you can see our endurance is starting to suffer now. But that's okay, we can just recover it. And we're back up. Oh, our endurance is suffering because of super jump. So we'll see how it works with combat jump now. So we freed one person, but that's actually not a goal. I mean, we definitely want to, we're a superhero, but it's actually not a goal of this mission. The only goal is to defeat Ubbleman and his guards. And so that means we have to find what level he's on and defeat him and whatever else is near him on that level. And once we're done with this, that will be the end of this season of Quintessence Lass, and next season we'll start with going back to Croatoa and talking to Kelly Nemmers, or whatever her name is, who is the contact that wouldn't speak to us until we were 30th level. Croatoa goes to level 35, so I think, as I said, I think there's one more contact after her, so we will do her story arc and one more. That'll probably get us to level 30, maybe 2, and then we will start doing a few more. We have Marisol and Stamets as contacts. Stamets, I think, is in Founders, and Marisol's in Bricktown, so hopefully we can get some story arcs from them. And by the time we're done with their story arcs, we'll probably be level 34, 35. It's going to go pretty quickly, and this character is just able to mow everything down. So the story arcs sure don't take a long time when you're this powerful and able to do this much damage. Is you can just blow through it. Okay, so this is a dead end. I guess, this is where we go next. Elevator. Yeah, with Silver Phoenix, stealth was a choice I took because I didn't want to take Crippling Axe Kick, I think. And I didn't really have anything else that I wanted to take at the time. And eventually I took Hasten as well. So we'll see what we can do with this character. Endurance is holding up okay now that we're not using a super jump, which was just a dumb mistake on my part. And there's another hostage. It really should have said, save these hostages as well as defeat Ubbleman. I mean, as a hero, it's actually more important to save the hostages than to beat somebody up. Let's get some more endurance from these guys. And it goes all the way to the top, which I love. And that's another power that needs to be slotted, at least for recharge. Everything needs slots. And we're getting powers so much faster than we're getting slots. I'm going to be really glad in the 30s to get all those extra slots, because we definitely need them. Yeah, we definitely do not want our missions on +0. This is way too easy. Let's see if we can find Ubelman. Is there another elevator? Nothing here. My guess is there is another elevator on the other side. Ah, good. There are some +1s. Didn't really need that soul drain, but I mean, we've got it as a power. I may as well use it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed Season 2 of our Brute. I've had an absolute blast. I'm so enjoying this character because of the aggressive gameplay, because of the special effects of both the dark and version of EA, Energy Aura, which I created in the in the character creator. I went in and like made it instead of whatever normal like orangish energy, I made it dark energy looking, and I think it complements the character really well. I love the concept of the character. The special effects, the sound effects are awesome. And other than fear, I like all the powers that we've got for her. So I've been very pleased overall with this character and with Dark Melee. As I've said before, martial arts will always be my first love, but this power set is definitely awesome. It has a lot to like about it. And I'm so happy that I get to do Shadow Maul over and over and over again. I love that animation. It's one of the best animations in the game. Along with, I guess, Crane Kick and Storm Kick, which are also big favorites of mine. Why are you following me around? You're gonna get killed. I just love when I catch two guys in that thing and I defeat one guy, and then when I go to attack the other guy, he's at 1/3 health because he got caught in the Shadow Maul. Shadow Maul is just awesome. I love the animations, I love the effects, it does great damage, and it's a cone. Just so much to love about that power. There we go, we got both of them. And there's Ulma. You're just a boss? Oh, that's so lame. I was hoping to fight an elite boss. He's got no chance against me if he's just a regular boss. He's basically floored now. Or nearly floored. Yeah, he's not floored. He's at like probably 20% to hit, but that's enough that... Yeah, he had no chance. And we completed the mission. We're certainly going to arrest these guys. We got some reward merits, 17 in fact. We're pretty close to having enough reward merits to get based on reward merits. We need 1600 or 1650, I think. Or 17, maybe it's 1750. We need three of them are 400 and one of them is 550, I believe. So we need 1750. We're close. We need a couple hundred more. But what we really need is influence, because it's going to take, I think, 125 million or 130 million influence to buy all of those things if we only have 20 mil. To buy all of it, this is to get the incarnate set that we have. We already have two um, enhancements for. Let us call Lori, who says, Ubelman is recuperating from the battle, but the prison doctors say his recovery will be short-lived at best. It seems he'd already suffered from a massive radiation overdose during his trip through time. The doctors give him a year at the outset. It's ironic, even if Ubelman had made it back to the past, he never would have lived long enough to see the future. This letter came. I haven't opened it, but it's addressed to you from Requiem, the villain from the 40s, the one who led the original regime that was subsumed by the Council. Nazis, in other words, the fifth column. I don't know if it's real. I really hope that it's not, but old evils like him seldom disappear. And I think we have a clue from Requiem. Look at all these souvenirs, guys. Letter from Requiem. To the one who this world calls hero, it was fortune alone that began this, a twist of fate that allowed you to be the one to intervene. But that is the nature of fortune, to test those who would be greater than those around them. When you disrupted the strike against the document warehouse, I thought perhaps that fortune was coming into alignment. I did not yet take steps to force fortune's hand, however. Your further tenacity was overwhelming to me. As you rescued all of the kidnapped historians, it is also, I would guess, at this point that you first heard the name of Wolfgang Ubelman from the men you rescued. Now, having seen a measure of your quality, I decided it would be time to employ your ability. A tip was sent to you anonymously on my order and enabled you to prevent the theft of more documents to be used in Ubelman's plans. You needed no help from me to learn of the kidnap of James Bartlett, known to you no doubt by the more colorful name Thunderhead. However, I sent aid to you in the form of his location. From him, too, you no doubt heard the name Wolfgang Ubelman. Once again, I gave you aid to stop Ubelman from securing the devices and data he sought. You performed admirably, a true credit to your kind. Time was growing short, and fortune turned against both of us in ways you did not know. It was a sacrifice, but I revealed Ubelman's location to you at great cost. Fate is often cruel, however, and Ubelman escaped, but the clues I left for you were enough to reveal his true nature. Now that you understood Ubelman's true point of origin, I am sure his motives were clear to you. A time traveler, he sought to glean knowledge and technology from our present to return to the past and change his future. Using my information, you were able to disrupt his plans by capturing the equipment he depended on. And so the final stage was set. Upon it, you played your part, capturing Ubelman and ending his threat. But you may wonder, what were my reasons for betraying a man I knew so long ago, for helping you to stop a victory by the powers whom I once served? It is no great surprise. Take but a moment to consider the course of history from my point of view. If the powers I served had won, if their rule had extended across the earth, then consider what place I would have held within it. Perhaps a mere princeling of some minor state, perhaps forced to the periphery by those with more voice in the halls of influence, perhaps dead before my time, for the center had great plans for the new world order, and I suppose they did not include a rival such as myself. I could not act against Ubelman directly. To do so would reveal myself to the center, and so, like so many others, I turn to you for my salvation. For I do not intend to toil beneath another forever. The seeds of my victory have been carefully sowed, and one day will bear a full harvest. I cannot say that you have gained my respect, but I will acknowledge that you fought well. Drink deeply of your success, bask in the adulation of your peers, savor this victory, know that you have saved your world and this moment from the shadow of history, but you have only saved it for now. Do not think that you have saved this world for your future. Know that you have saved this world for the coming of my dominion. Requiem. I read all that because I think it's very cool. So Requiem decided to help us take down his rival, essentially. And that is the end of this story arc, and the end of this episode, and the end of this season. In the upcoming season, we're going to go back to Croatoa. We'll talk to Kelly Nemers, or whatever her name is, and we'll start working on the rest of the Croatoa storyline. Until then, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes on the Rebirth server.